We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the SlooPcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right, Jared. Doing all right. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Kyle, we're back. It's a game week. We're doing in-week episodes again, which means we have a Friday episode for the first time in a while. This is fun and this is exciting, and we're going to have a good time.
All right.
No beer to crack. I'm not drinking two tonight. I got work tomorrow. But we do the beer crack on the Ohio State episodes, not the national episodes. That's just going to have to be reality.
All right. This is our SlooPicks episode here. So we pick 6 games outside of the Ohio State game. Or if it's a bye week, we pick 7 games.
Yeah.
But this week at 6. So we got 6 games outside of the Ohio State game. We picked against the spread because sometimes that might be a little too easy to pick just straight up who's going to win. So we picked the spread as the lock-ins from CBS Sports Pick'ems.
Yes.
So lines obviously can change because I think I've seen as of we're recording right now, Ohio State and Akron has dropped down to 48.5 points, which kind of makes me question my decision from the Ohio State episode there, but I digress. But yeah, these are locked in over at CBS Sports Pick'ems. And
I would actually take Ohio State at 47.5. But I wasn't willing to take them at 50.5. Hey, Spikes. Right. Oh, Spikes and Esquire in the chat. Whoever answers, we didn't have a guest picker lined up for this week. No one wanted to pick the Akron week. So we're going to need input from the chat to pick for the guest picks. So if y'all are up for that, just let us know. All right, they are ready.
All right, let's go ahead and start us off. Let's do the nooner. A little surprised it's a noon game, but here we are. Clemson and Georgia. Neutral site. I forget where it's at.
It's Atlanta.
Is it
Mercedes?
Is it Atlanta? Okay, it's a home game for Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia is a 14.5 point favorite over Clemson.
Yeah.
I understand. Like looking at this, I understand Clemson there's two things I look at here. I understand Clemson has a really good defense, and not sure about the offense, but the defense is supposed to be really good. And obviously Georgia, very, very good team, expected to do great things this year, contention to be a national champion at the end of the year here, but a lot of off the field stuff happening for Georgia this last off season. Could that get in the way for the Bulldogs this year? Well, it's yet to be seen. We'll find out as the year goes along here. So it's.
But
yeah, I think
we're only talking about this
those
game.
Are the two. To me, that's the two headlights here, or headlines.
I agree. So, which way are you going?
I think I'm going to go with Georgia. Too much talent. I just think there's too much talent on this Georgia team, and Clemson still hasn't proven to me that they have an offense that can keep up with Georgia. So, I'll pick the Bulldogs.
I'm gonna go with Clemson. Georgia seems to be having a very eventful in a bad way off season. I don't know how ready they are for this game, and I'm not saying Clemson's going to win it because I do think Georgia's a much more talented football team. Let me say that off of the top. On paper, Georgia should kill Clemson. I don't know, based off of the offseason that Georgia's been having, how focused they are. But I also don't know how, is Clemson good enough to take advantage? I don't know. Esquire says down in the chat that he thinks Clemson sneaks back in with a meaningless pick, a meaningless score at the end of the game to backdoor cover it. Let's see. I think Clemson sneaks back. Okay, well, our two guest pickers are splitting on this one, Kyle. Guys, I'm gonna favor Esquire this time because he said it first. But if you guys differ again, I'm going with Spikes next time.
All right. Next game, also at noon. This is Fox's big game for the week. Penn State on the road to West Virginia. Noon game, and Penn State is a 9.5 point favorite in this game.
I think Penn State wins this football game. I do. For those of you who aren't from that area, this was once a big rivalry. That's not. I don't know if it was a big rivalry, but it was a rivalry of sorts. It wasn't like Pitt, West Virginia by any means, but it was a rivalry of sorts. But yeah, week one, I have a strong bias towards the underdog in week one, just because I don't feel like we know anything about anything right now. So when in doubt, pick the underdog, especially in September. So I'm gonna go West Virginia here, although West Virginia to cover, Penn State to win.
Yeah, last year Penn State won 38-15 in Happy Valley. I think it's going to be much closer. 9.5 points. Yeah, I'll take the Mountaineers to cover. And I think chat here has also picked the Mountaineers.
Okay. I mean, Duncan even came in and said, "I'm not listening, but eat shit, Pitt." We're not talking about Pitt. But that still feels like a very pro West Virginia sentiment. Regardless. Right. So we have a sweep for the Mountaineers on game number 2.
All right. Next up here, we're heading on over to 3:30. Our only 3:30 pick for this week, other than the Ohio State Akron, which you can listen to the Ohio State Akron episode that was posted on Thursday. But we're talking about Miami and Florida. Miami is a 2.5 point favorite in this game on the road at Florida's stadium here.
Spikes down in the chat says Austin's Fighting Gators to win outright. Let's see what Esquire has to say before we hand that one over. I am once again going to. I don't like Miami this year. I'm not necessarily calling for an upset here. Although, hey, why not? But I always feel like Miami's overrated. So if you give me an opportunity to pick Miami as the favorite with a legitimate opponent as an underdog, I'm going to take that every time.
You want a fun stat here, Jared? Florida, the last 5 games. Again, I know it doesn't matter. It's a new season, but this is just fun. Last 5 games for Florida, 0-5. 0-5 of their last 5 games. Miami, the last 5 games, was 1-4. So both teams looking to redeem themselves after a pitiful end of their season. If you remember, Rutgers beat Miami in their bowl game last season, and Miami and Florida didn't even go to a bowl game. So both teams looking to make a statement here. 2.5 points to Miami on the road. I'll take Florida. Florida with those points there. So yeah, give me Florida.
All right. And now Esquire and Spikes have split. Spikes says to pick the Gators to win outright, but Esquire says he's picking Miami. I gave when they split last time, I gave it to Esquire, so I'll give it to Spikes this time. Shameful performance by both team ends with Cristobal fucking up clock management at the end would be fitting. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But it looks like we have a trifecta for the underdogs for a second straight round of picks there.
Yeah. All right. All right. We have our final three games are
bad.
7. Well, our next two games are Saturday night games. First, we'll talk about Notre Dame taking on Texas A&M. And it is on the road at Kyle Field, which, by the way, is an awesome name. Texas A&M, being preseason ranked 20, is a 2.5 point favorite over 7th ranked Notre Dame. Who do you got in this one, Jared?
I feel like both of these teams are pretty big question marks in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know who either of these teams are. They both feel like teams that come into the season with a fair amount of hype. Neither of those teams end up completely failing. Like, they don't fall off the face of the earth the way Miami does, but they also never really do it. That being said, I feel like Notre Dame's a playoff team, even if it's like on the edge of the playoff, like the 11th or 10th seed.
Yep.
I don't feel like Texas A&M is, but that has probably more to do with the fact that they play in the SEC than it does who they are as a team by themselves. I don't know who these teams are. I'm once again just going to pick the underdog out of a acknowledgement that I don't know what the hell these teams are.
I agree. So I agree. I agree with what you were saying, Jared. And I'm going to use one of our old sayings: "When in doubt, pick the underdog." So
yeah.
I'm going to pick the underdog.
All right. Spikes and Esquire have once again split. I picked Spikes last time they split, so I need to pick Esquire this time. So I'm gonna go ahead and just plop that right there. The official guest pick is going to Notre Dame. That is our third straight unanimous pick.
All right. The second night game, and only because of pure location. UCLA
is it technically a night game?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
UCLA, it is for us on the East Coast.
UCLA and the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii. I'm just looking at 13.5. Sorry, I was making sure I was reading that number right. 13.5 point favorite for UCLA. Hawaii's already played one game. They've already played one game, beating Delaware State 35-14.
I'm sorry. Why is Hawaii playing a team based in Delaware? At least they didn't have to. They didn't have to go all the way over to Delaware. Yeah, but Delaware had to go all the way over to there.
They did,
and they had plane troubles.
Yeah, and UCLA having to. UCLA, why are you on the road against Hawaii?
Because it's Hawaii.
Yeah,
if I was UCLA, I would do every other season in Honolulu. I'd make it a tradition. You sell that to your recruits. That's why. Because it's Honolulu. Yeah. Why not? It's not like UCLA is going to a bowl game this year. We'll get a trip to Hawaii in.
Mm-hmm.
And
I hope
recruit
I'm
Pacific Islanders too.
Yeah.
Good call, Esquire.
I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't really have much confidence in this UCLA team this year.
That's totally fair assessment. I just said they aren't going to go to a bowl game.
I'm going to pick Hawaii to cover. I think UCLA should win this game, but I think it's going to be closer than UCLA wants it to be.
I feel like that much travel just isn't good for an athlete regardless. I mean, we saw, Georgia Tech had to travel too. So I'm not trying to make excuses for Florida State, but we saw what just happened to Florida State. Yeah. I mean, jet lag is a very real thing. So yeah, I'm going to take the jet lag plus Hawaii plus 13.5. Also that they do that thing, which is, I wouldn't be on the other end of that thing. Or did you both pick Hawaii?
So, yep, they both picked. Yep,
they both picked Hawaii.
Gosh, that is 4 in a row.
Yeah. No, we're going for a disaster.
All right,
we shouldn't be agreeing this much.
Yes. All right, and the last one is LSU and UCLA. Oh, UCLA. Yeah, LSU and UCLA. Wow. Let me try that one more time. LSU and USC playing Sunday. Thank you. Sunday night. I hate week 1. Why do they do this? I mean, I know why, but I don't like it. Sunday night. It is in Las Vegas, and LSU is a 6.5 point favorite.
Now, Kyle, before you give your answer on that, I want to do a quick ad break. If you want to avoid these ad breaks, you can go to sloopcast.com to see all of our links, but more specifically to avoid the ads, you want to go to patreon.thesloopcast.com, where you can support us financially, avoid ad breaks, get premium access to our Discord server. The Discord server is, however, free. But there is a premium section to it. Anyone can join our Discord server at discord.thesloopcast.com. And anyone can support us financially at patreon.thesloopcast.com. And if you're looking for any of these links, because maybe you're driving or you just can't jump on a web browser right this second, you can find all of our links by going to thesloopcast.com. Here's that ad break now. Okay, Kyle, how you feeling about LSU USC neutral field, playing this one in Las Vegas? So that's a little bit of a home field advantage for USC. It's not as dramatic as Georgia playing in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But it is considerably, I mean, you could take a bus from Los Angeles. I'm not saying, I mean, they probably will. You could easily bus from LA to Las Vegas. LSU obviously going to have to get on a plane. You're playing in the Western time zone. Not that, LSU's only they're central, right? They're only 2 time zones away. That's not dramatic, especially since they're playing at night. Their body clock's going to be at like 5:30. I don't think there's any severe jet lag issues to worry about here, but it is much more of a home game, presumably for USC. That being said, LSU fans you might have more LSU fans in the stadium because, hey, how often does a Louisiana State fan have an excuse to just go to Las Vegas and not have the wife be mad at him for it? Honey, I'm going there for the football game. I don't know what you're so upset about. I always like to go to these road games. The fact that it's in Las Vegas is totally based off of nothing. It's just that's where they happen to be playing, honey. I don't know what you think the problem is.
Yeah.
My God, LSU fans in Vegas. Yeah, it's a disaster. It's going to be a disaster.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, LSU losing Jaden Daniels, who's pretty much their entire offense last year.
Well, it's a good thing LSU didn't lose their quarterback, who was their entire offense last year.
Yeah. their backup quarterback. I feel like he's been there for LSU for a long time, but Garrett Nussmeier is going to be their quarterback. I kind of my gut is LSU to cover here. I just have this vibe whenever USC plays in a neutral site against an SEC team, they don't do well. I always have that visual of that pre-game where you see USC getting ramped up. They're like acting like they're being pulled back and getting ready to take on Alabama, and then they just crap the bed. I have a feeling we could see something like that again in this game here. So 6.5, so only a touchdown. I feel good picking LSU.
Right, we have 2 picks for LSU. Kyle, take a look at the board. Take a look for the YouTube people, for the non-YouTube people. We've had a board up on the screen this entire time detailing out our picks. Tell me what you see out of my picks.
You've always picked the underdog.
This game will be no different. Week 1, we are going straight ticket for the underdog. I'm sorry, I don't know who any of these teams are yet. We don't know who any of these teams are yet. Why would I pick a favorite? Why would I pick a favorite? These Vegas lines are based off of recruiting stars, and they're based off of uniforms. Remember that Vegas numbers are not a reflection of reality, but rather a reflection of perception. Vegas's goal is to get a 50-50 split on either side so they can just collect the VIG. That's their goal, to not lose.
Fair enough.
That's why no one will remember your name. Listen. Shut up.
All right. That is it. That is all of our picks here. Jared going straight underdogs, picking Clemson, West Virginia, Florida, Notre Dame, Hawaii, USC, and Akron. And I picked Georgia to cover, West Virginia, Florida, Notre Dame, Hawaii to cover, and LSU and Ohio State to cover then. So,
yeah. Kyle, we had 3 differences in week 1. That's
3 differences.
That's pretty steep.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty steep.
Yeah.
All right. Week 1 picks are purely vibes based. See, and I'm trying to avoid the vibes, because ultimately when you pick based off of vibes, you pick based off of uniforms, and that's some mistake. Yeah. So I'm going straight underdogs. Now, Kyle, we have an additional game that we like to play. And we've been playing this game. I think this is either the 2nd or 3rd year we've played this game, but we never really gave this game a name before now.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle and I got talking, and then we didn't think of a name we liked. So we got the chat involved. Shout out to Buckeye Esquire, who's currently in the chat, who came up with this name. I present to you Chaos Theory. We call this game Chaos Theory. Here's what we do. You have to pick a team to lose. Some of you might be, is it like a survivor pool? No, it is not. No, it is not. This is a game totally unique to college football. In this game, you have to pick a ranked team to lose to a non-ranked team. In other words, chaos. Team chaos. We are picking Team Chaos to win a football game. We score this based off of the rank of the team you chose to lose, but reversed. In other words, if you pick the 25th team to lose, you gain to win 1 point. But if you pick the number 1 ranked team to lose, you stand to gain 25 points. And, I'll even for the YouTube folks, I'll even zoom in because I have the cheat sheet right here on the scoring system. That's your translation. The 8th team in the country is worth 18 points. The 18th team in the country is worth 8 points. Luckily it worked out like that. Made the cheat sheet a little bit easier. But that's the game. So in other words, you have to choose a team to win. You have to choose a ranked team to lose against a non-ranked team. The higher the ranked team is ranked, the more points you stand to gain. If your team loses, you get nothing. Good day, sir. Picking on behalf of the guest this week is Buckeye Esquire. His choice I will give you after the ad break. Sorry, these are shorter episodes. This ad break's coming a little bit closer to the other ad break. Apologies for that. But we do need to get 2 of these ad breaks in. Cliffhanger. Absolutely. That was a Ryan Seacrest level cliffhanger right there. No big intro. Sloopcast.com, thesloopcast.com to find all the links. Patreon.thesloopcast, Discord.thesloopcast. We'll be right back. And we're back. Buckeye Esquire chose Penn State. He chooses Penn State. Penn State is currently, according to the AP, the 8th ranked team. And therefore, should Penn State lose, the guest pickers will gain 18 points. Kyle, Who did you pick?
I'll go with what I picked in our SlooPicks here. I got Florida beating Miami. No, it's not a lot of points, but
it feels safer.
Points.
It's safe, though.
Points.
I mean, Esquire takes a pretty big swing, picking the 8th team to lose. I'm going to take an even bigger swing. We'll see what that is here in a second. Very low on Aller. And a low scoring game. Franklin can fuck it up. You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But picking Florida, I mean, that's good value. Kyle, you stand to gain 7 points, and Vegas says that's only a 2.5 point dog. That's a good value pick. You don't stand to gain a ton of points, but out of the 3 picks, and we haven't seen mine yet, I obviously know what it is. But out of the 3 picks, you're the most likely to hit. Speaking of swinging for the fences, my pick is Georgia. Clemson is not nearly as talented as other Clemson's teams we've seen in recent years. Dabo's still refusing to use the transfer portal. Mind-boggling. But Clemson...
Go ahead. Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is not nearly as talented as a Clemson team as we've seen in recent years. However, they still recruit really well. They still have really good talent. And again, I get the impression from Georgia, from the news coming out of Athens at least, that I don't know if the Bulldogs took their offseason all that seriously. Clemson's a really talented football team. They're not nearly as talented as Georgia, but I'm swinging for the fences here. I'm going for all of it.
Fences. Yep.
I'm picking the number 1 team to lose. I stand to gain 25 points. And again, like, I get a team in Clemson that recruits 5-star players to pull this upset. Again, they're not as deep and they're not as consistently talented as the top end teams. There's still a lot of talent there. This is not a MAC school. Wait a minute. Clemson's ranked. I literally can't pick this. What am I doing? What have I done?
What have you done, Jared?
It's week 1 and I already fucked it up. It's week 1 and I already done fucked it up, Kyle.
There are some other games. There are some other games if you're interested.
I suppose there are. You lose. Good day,
do you
sir.
want to pick? Do you want to pick the 7:30 kickoff on NBC?
Well, why don't you just tell me who it is?
It's the Bulldogs taking on the Wolverines.
No. No, I don't. I'm going, Kyle, I'm going to steal your answer because it was my second pick anyway. Like it legitimately was.
I see how it is.
Yeah. No, I'm absolutely cheating. It's not because it's a good answer. So Kyle and I will start this off tied at the very least. We'll see if the guest pickers can get an early jump on us. And that's it for Chaos Theory. Or as the people watching YouTube can see, we have this set up to run all season. We're going to keep score. It's going to be a lot of fun. I also have a scoreboard for the SlooPicks, which I suppose I can bring up real quick. We're going to take the SlooPicks very seriously this year. Last couple of years, I don't know if we followed it week to week nearly as closely as we should. But there's our SlooPicks scoreboard. Chaos Theory already struck the Chaos Theory segment. Something could have gone wrong. It went wrong. That's not Chaos Theory though. That's Moore's Law, not Moore's Law. Murphy's Law. Moore's Law has to do with processors, but we don't need to talk about that right now. There's a SlooPick scoreboard. We're going to track all of these things very, very closely this year. We will crown a winner. I'm going to win. Just letting you know right now, I'm going to win. Kyle, that's the end of today's show. Do you have anything in Kyle? It was good. I enjoyed that.
Feels good to be back.
It is so good to be back. Do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
I don't. I know that there's a lot of people talking about the Netflix series Untold Sign Stealer with
that's a terrible name.
It is with Connor Stallions.
It's very. I personally, there's too much. There's too many words there.
I personally haven't.
They should have just gone with Sign Stealer.
Yeah, I personally haven't seen it yet, but I know there's a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people are talking about it right now. It's just more fuel to the fire.
I canceled Netflix after they canceled BoJack Horseman, and I'm still upset about it. Because that's a healthy response to a show that healthy people love. Anyway, I love BoJack. It's whatever. Like I was out on that documentary is the second I realized it was basically done by Connor Stallions. Like, oh, so it's just going to be a PR piece then. This isn't being done by some sort of documentarian wanting to tell a story. It's Connor Stallions telling Connor Stallions' story. I don't care. Although I did see that someone pointed out he hilariously screwed it up. Esquire, he admits to so much. What does he care? He has nothing to lose. Like, he didn't do anything criminal. He has nothing to lose. I did see someone point out that he got a game ball from Coach Harbaugh, which I have to say really hurts the Harbaugh didn't know anything about it argument. Why are you giving the game ball to a random film analyst, Harbaugh? He's admitting stuff by trying to explain how he wasn't doing anything wrong. Esquire, you're a lawyer. I'm going to trust your opinion on this, because I can picture lawyer you watching this saying, shut up, quit talking, or keep talking. I'm not sure what side of the law you find yourself on the most, quite frankly. But I kind of picture everyone as a defense attorney trying to be like, shut up, whenever I watch anything like that. I know you're mostly in civil stuff, but again, I don't necessarily know. All attorneys want their client to shut up. That feels consistent with what little I know about such things. But again, like, he already lost his job. I don't think there's anything that can be done to him civilly. There's nothing to be done to him criminally. Quite frankly, other than the payday from the Netflix documentary, I don't know what he stands to gain from it other than the payday. Like, I don't know if he has anything to gain or lose other than money, because I'm sure Netflix paid him a pretty penny for that.
Yep. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all we got here, Jared.
Esquire confirms, there's no way he can be punished. Yeah. Nothing he did was actually illegal. Wasn't an assistant coach illegally accessing Ohio State practice material, which decidedly is illegal and could even fall under computer crimes for stealing Ohio State practice material. They weren't just stealing signs, people. They weren't just stealing signs. And this is now the second incident, Barton, where someone was accessing Ohio State practice footage. Maybe y'all need to quit sticking that shit on computers, or maybe you need an IT security guy who's also a big fan, who might, help you out a little bit if you need an IT security guy. Ohio State. Just let me know. Just let me know. I might be able to help you out. Here's my resume. Look at it. I'm on LinkedIn. Ohio State, pay me. I'm gonna help you guys out. All right, that's it. That's the end of today's show. I already asked Kyle about Kyle's Corner. We are going back to doing bands twice in a row, just to simplify things during the week. So we will once again be playing to vapors. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, these are playing to vapors.